Hello everyone, Dan 14th Prime here. Want to do a video share out today on the ThreeZero DLX, that's 12-inch scale, Optimus Prime collectible action figure. He's in a deco here as seen in the Bumblebee Transformers movie. This very cool Cybertronian yet G1 inspired deco that's been very popular amongst the fans. If you're interested in seeing the box and the pack out of this figure, check me out on Instagram, same handle Dan 14th Prime. You'll find some pics of the unboxing out there. If you're interested in picking this figure up, he retails for about $200, which I believe for a collectible action figure like this is dang good value for money. 3A always delivers on that. And you can shop for him down, links in the description below. And as always, any shopping through those links supports the channel at no cost to you, and I do very much appreciate that. So I expect lots of collectors are going to get their hands on this guy right here, and if you're interested, don't hesitate. I think it's a fantastic figure. But for today, let's dive in and take a closer look at this one. Let me start off here with a couple of comparisons. We've got Masterpiece MP44 on the left there, and the Hot Toys Optimus Prime over there on the right. So 3 zeros. I apologize in advance now if I ever mistakenly refer to them as 3A. They've split up 3A and reorganized it, and it's this new 3-0 business that has the Transformers piece of the legacy 3A business. And you can see here, I referred to him as a 12-inch figure. I mean, he's probably more legitimately 11.5, let's say. And both the figures to his left and right are significantly more, at least at their suggested day one retail, than the 3-0 Optimus Prime here in front of you. Granted, the other two come with significantly more than just the core figure that we get here with 3-0. And here we have the DLX offering next to two premium scale Optimus Primes, Dark the Moon and The Last Night. Again, those two were like 18-inch action figures, about $450. I'd love for them to do this Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime in that same scale, but we're still waiting. Next up here, let me just give you a clean, wide-angle view of this figure. Beautiful. I mean, beautiful. I think 3A, the thing I love about them, 3-0, excuse me, and 3A before them, fantastic detail and sculpt, all kinds of mechanical workings detailed throughout the figure, paint applications that are second to none. These guys do paint apps as well as anyone, including Hot Toys, and they always pack all that into a well-built, well-articulated figure with slick electronics, and this guy just has one feature of light-up eyes, which I'll show you, but very cool because the switch is just basically his forehead. They always do a great job of integrating the switches into the figure. But basically all plastic all the way around, even the tires, they're hard, but all just painted nicely to look like rubber and to have the dirt effect on it. Maybe there's some die cast or things like that on the interior. It does have some heft, but more or less this is sculpted plastic, all painted up very nicely to look like worn metal. And I really think 3-0 did a fantastic job pulling all that through in this action figure. All right, let's dive in closer and take a better look. Let me just start off here by jumping you in close on that head sculpt. I think they nailed it. It's got all the cool lines in there, all that extra mechanical Cybertronian detail they put into this head sculpt. And as I had mentioned, the switch is like right here. It takes two LR44s, and then there's a button that just pushes back into and pushes. Batteries go right in here, head pops off. Two L44s, that is the button, and all the forehead does is sort of push back into that switch. So again, always love the functionality and integration they do with switches. I'll get you a little bit of the profile here. Now, it's on a ball peg, pretty light. It doesn't like to turn a whole lot. You get a lot of neck articulation there, but when you really try to turn the top of the head, it starts to pop up on that peg. So this peg may be a little soft. The peg on the hands, too tight. So we'll talk about some of that stuff. But there's the side profile and the ear. The design has a little more of a thicker ear, but still very much recognizable as Optimus Prime. And yeah, this head popping off is one of the little nits of this figure. The other being, while we're up here, these things sometimes might pop off on you as well. I don't mind that stuff, rather they pop off like that than break. I'll just back up here and look at the overall upper body. I'll just let you take in the detail. I mean, nothing to call out every single thing, but I love the white stripe, and it's all worn up there on the shoulders. Still got a bit of the silver stripe through there. Things like that. Definitely some G1 callbacks. Oddly, even wipers. Gave them wipers. I guess you need windshield wipers on Cybertron. But what's really cool is when you get into the core and just all the mechanical through here, and then just all the way down like the top of the arms. All these kind of pulley and gear systems going through the top of the arms. phenomenal. And again, G1 callbacks like the arrow. Really love this design. And while we're upstairs, actually, let me just give you a bit of the top of the head there, because that's cool. I like the shape of it. He's got this little protruding back area, just like in G1. Some cool silver accenting up there, and different types of piping and color. So very, very cool up top on that shoulder section. Then down into the lower body, it's got all kinds of flaps around sort of the waist, and I'll show you some of those when we do an articulation demo. Otherwise, nice metallic looking thighs down into the classic blue legs. Even did sort of the front paneling stuff that we often see in the toys. He's got some like pistons and pipes on his foot. And of course, kind of gas tanks and wheels off on the side there. All very, very cool. And while we're here as well, I'll give you the inside view of that thigh. This cool kind of gunmetal colors and the blue and even little accenting pieces like that yellow up there. Just great sculpting, great paint. Spin him around here, give you a side view profile. Like cool with the pipes and the angle like that. And he's got like sort of the burn effect on the end. Again, a cool metallic chrome type color on the stacks. Goes into more of this gunmetal that you see predominantly through the arm, and all just kinds of great sculpt in there. Just tubes and mechanical pieces. And it comes down and we'll take a look, but the hands are all swap out just on a ball peg. And there I just picked his arm up a bit out of the way. You can look up into the core section. A lot of great detail coming around. How this wraps around into the sides. Great accents in there. Very cool. And then when you come down into the legs, again, this whole metal colored hip skirt and thigh section. Get more of the gunmetal, some blue accents there, and a better look there at the tanks and the wheels. And again, plastic, but look every bit like rubber. Even nice dirt painted into the treads of the tires. Oh, one other thing, just while I've sort of got them like this, bottom of the feet, pretty cool. They just sort of put their logo there, and he's got a nice gunmetal bottom of the foot. Here you got the back of the figure, which I think just looks awesome. I think it's some of the best work just to give that sort of greasy wear mechanical effect all across the back. It's like you can just see the oil kind of in the grooves, even across the red throughout the back. Looks really cool. While I'm back here, I'll show you. He's got this butt panel. If you want to use the stand, this panel just pulls right out. Plug the stand right in there. This is also a huge articulation limiter, so kind of handy just to have it out a lot of the times anyway. And then down here into the lower legs, again, just this classic sort of Optimus blue undercrotch section. Can't get over the metal look, the paint on these thighs. This looks so realistic. And then a nice solid back of the leg, again with the blue panels covering a lot of gunmetal mechanical accents underneath. Okay, let's get into some of Prime's accessories. And there's not a ton, but you get what you need. And of course, first up would be the big ion blaster here. They go with more of a gunmetal type color, a bit more silver in it, so it's not your kind of traditional black, but it still looks very cool, and this probably actually works better for the deco of this movie-based figure, but very much still G1 inspired. The big ion blaster. No light up or anything in this gun, and that's all right. Just a nice solid accessory here with, again, great paint application, molded, sculpt all the way through. And this gun is pretty big. It's about 6.5 inches long. Next up, let me show you his hands. He gets 4 sets of hands and then one separate left gesturing hand. So here we get just the pair of the closed fists. This is what he comes packed up in out of the box. I mean, the hands are fine. It's got the right blue. It's got some wear effect on it, nicely painted, so it looks good. Again, just it fixes with a ball peg, which I don't love. It's been pretty tight. You get trigger finger hands. Again, one is on the figure, so I don't have that one handy. But to show you how to put this gun in, because again, these things look kind of fragile. So if you're gentle, kind of put it in like this, sideways. Slide it up, and then you can twist it around. I found that to be the best way to put the trigger finger on without too much stress. Next up here, gets a pair of these slightly opened hands. And then finally, you get a pair of these. Again, one was on the figure, kind of more sprawled, full-on open hand. And then finally, he gets this. I believe they called it like commander hand or something like that. It's, just the point, 2-finger point, left hand. And then the last thing you get here is this stand. Just plastic, but it works. So it's got the Transformers Bumblebee logo on it there. in the ThreeZero logo. Again, kind of see it all molded, this Cybertronian type look on it. Again, just hollow underneath, so nothing too fancy, but does the job. This just plugs into it straight out of the box. And you can adjust here. This slides. When you want to lock it in place, just press down. It just grooves in. So you put that wherever you like, push it down, groove in. This piece here will come forward. You just pull it out. Get various lengths, and when you want to put it back down, because it's locked, you just sort of push down here, and it will let you slide that back down. And then this piece here moves. It doesn't rotate though. You sort of poke it out because it just has all these grooves to lock it in, so you can't actually rotate it, or you'd strip it probably if you did. And you just kind of place it where you want it to be. And again, when you're posing them up, easiest thing to do is just pull that off. Grab your prime here. I mentioned this butt flap piece comes off, and you just plug that in. Just like that. Come back here. And you can get them up in the air like that, and here I've got them so forward. You don't really get the balance with this stand, this base not having much weight. But if you brought it more upright, so you get more of the center of gravity underneath of them, works just fine. Next up here, let me demonstrate some of the movements. Again, it's giving us a lot of articulation. It's not as good as the premium scales, but there's still plenty here, and really maybe only a complaint or two that I would even have. We showed you the head a bit already. It's on a ball joint there, so you can do some things to look up, look down. Then the whole neck section there moves as well. So when you move the whole neck, you can look down a lot. And when you move the whole neck as well, he can look up about like that, which I think is plenty. He's not going to be needing to look up at much. And then just because of the way this articulates, you can sort of, there's the ball peg. It's a little bit too loose. But you can get side to side, kind of cock the head, things like that. Again, these things will pop off from time to time. They kind of articulate a bit themselves. See that? The arm here will spin all the way around like this. It's got a butterfly. So you can kind of pull that out. See how you get this cylinder? And that will let you get, the arms all the way across the body, which is cool. You can also raise the arm. The arm raise really happens not truly at the shoulder, but kind of like just above the bicep there. So you can get a lateral raise like that. It's got a bicep swivel right there, top of the bicep as well. And you can see how some of these pieces just move around to articulate, to accommodate articulation. And he's got a double jointed elbow there and there. And I almost forgot, he also has even a swivel down in the forearm a bit as well. It's more to the outside. So tons of arm articulation there. When you come into the hand, again, this is basically on like a ball joint and it hinges. So you can do that. And then of course you can just spin this around. There's your ball joint. These things are on super tight. I find them hard to get all the way on. Now the waist here is the most limited point of articulation. He's got all these panels that are on different ball joints, different ways you can articulate all these things, which help, both front and back. And I mentioned this butt panel here. I mean, that limits articulation. But even when you take this out, actually, you'll see here some edges on this same butt panel piece stick up over these flaps, and they become the limiter. That's the main restriction. That's the main limit with waist articulation there. You're kind of getting like, 30 degrees maybe, side to side. So there's your number one limitation. And really the only problem I have with the figure for articulation. Otherwise, you also get up here the diaphragm joint, which rocks side to side really well. Nice details all up under there. And this guy's got a monster ab crunch. That's like phenomenal. Personally, I would trade some of that for some more waist articulation. And the cool thing is in the back, just check that out. Awesomely detailed through the back. They sort of just have a molded curved piece here that just reveals itself as this piece rocks up. You see this piece, it's curved in on the inside, and then same thing down here. They kind of have these curved in, so it gives the illusion of like stretching out the spine. very cool, very well articulated. Then when you come into the lower leg, lower part of the body, get these panels up a bit out of the way. The leg will come up like this. Pretty good, but there's actually a swinging mechanism. So you just pull that all the way down, you get like 2 clicks, and then you can really get that guy nice and high like that. And it also helps if you want to have it back a bit further as well. And you just need to kind of angle it back a bit. There's a rotating joint there that will help because the crotch area might otherwise limit. But that swings like that as well. So you can see that swinging arm. That's very cool. The knee, check this out. Double joint knee, and you get some nice piece there. It kind of comes out and helps give a bit of a visual look. When you articulate the knee, see right there. And then you get like some piston that comes out and shows up. So that's pretty cool. That knee's amazing. Again, just check that out. See, watch that kind of fold in to come back together. So some nice extra hidden panels in there. Up here at the hip, really that just gives you a smidge of kind of swivel up there. Doesn't really swivel, you just get that rocking mechanism. Nothing at the knee that will help you swivel. So not a big deal, but not a true kind of hip swivel there. And then on the foot, it'll raise up. There's a lever there that will go up. You don't really have much ability to point the toe though. So it kind of just comes basically flat. And then here you do get a rocking mechanism, both sides. And also down here at the foot as well, it will just swivel. Again, pretty dang good articulation overall. You know, the waist would be much nicer to have better, and a couple small things there that could improve it, but overall, very solid. So there you have it, guys. The ThreeZero DLX Optimus Prime. Very cool. I was excited for the figure. My 4th 3A/3/0 figure. The first in this 12-inch scale. And yeah, I was excited to get him, and he did not disappoint. I think this figure delivers on everything that 3.0/3A has its well-deserved reputation for delivering. And again, at $200, I think an excellent value. All right, guys, thanks for checking in on this Optimus Prime video share out. Again, check me out on Instagram, same handle, Dan14Prime. And if you're interested in picking this figure up, check the links in the description below, or really any shop you do with those links. Supports the channel at no cost to you and is very much appreciated. Thanks again for stopping by. I'll see you next time.